Now, welcome to a review of The Marvels. We're going to start with some non-spoiler talk, and then we will move into spoiler territory. We will give you a nice warning in case you care about that sort of thing, so you don't have anything ruined for you if you plan on seeing this. So let's jump right in. What did you think of The Marvels?
Non-spoilery,
Non-spoiler, yes.
I went into this with, let's just say, low expectations.
Okay.
Honestly worried I was going to walk out and felt I wasted my money and had a bad day because
Marvel it is your birthday, yes.
Marvel has disappointed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There have been some real stinkers out there.
Yeah, it's been trending downward, let's say. There's been some good ones in there, like No Way Home, for example. A few other bright spots, but it's been dim compared to, say, the first three phases.
But I was pleasantly surprised by this movie.
Okay.
I feel like I walked out of there in a happy place. There were times I was generally just smiling through the movie. There were some times I was actually laughing.
Like genuine yes.
laughter. It felt like full-on comic book fun.
Okay. I don't disagree with that at all. Actually, I think this might be one of the more comic booky movies of the MCU.
Absolutely.
You could take that as a positive or a negative, I suppose, because it is heavily focused on the fun and the adventure to the point where it is like 90% action adventure.
Yeah. With it being a shorter runtime, I think that was the right call.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't feel like there was too much drag.
Well, sure, but it also didn't feel like there was too much meat on the bone, I suppose, either.
There was enough meat on the bone to make it a solid.
There were 2 times where the movie slowed down for like 3 minutes to kind of go into some character for you. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's pedal to the metal. It's just going. And if you like that sort of thing, I mean, it can be enjoyable, right? Mm-hmm. It can be fun, but sometimes you do just want a little more to it. And I think I would have liked a little more to it.
Okay.
I would have preferred an hour and 45-minute movie where I had 10 more minutes of just something to make me feel like I understand what's going on sometimes.
But I never felt like I wasted my time or my money. I thought it was a solid movie. I came out happier than when I went in, which is... I hate that that's like the standard for movies.
It is. Isn't that what a movie should be?
Yes.
I mean, shouldn't we judge it on did we enjoy your time watching it? Mm-hmm. That should be the ultimate determining factor. So
I would definitely watch this one again, too. I liked it.
I would say my biggest issue, or one of my biggest issues, and this is for people who wouldn't have seen things like WandaVision or Miss Marvel, you are not going to know, and they're not going to do much to really tell you who these characters are.
They try to give you a little information, some backstory. It's splashed in there.
Like I said, those 2 times or 3 times when the movie will take like 2 minutes to have some characterization and some growth, it'll kind of fill you in on who they are a little bit.
I'm very curious to hear from somebody who hasn't seen those projects. Did they understand these characters, where they came from? I feel like they gave enough of a story, possibly.
I mean, that's coming from you who has, of course, seen all that, too. And know these characters from elsewhere as well.
I do, yes.
So.
Should we move into spoiler territory?
Well, my general take on it, because, if you're someone who's like, do I want to see this, do I not? I think you won't be too disappointed, is my best way to put it.
I think there's definitely enough here.
I don't know.
To make this an enjoyable movie experience for people.
If you really just want to go and enjoy something for an hour and a half, yeah. If you want something a little more meaty, you're probably going to leave the theater like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Moving into spoiler territory, so
Finally.
red alert.
Spoilers, here they go.
All right.
I liked the villain.
Really? I thought that was one of the weaker parts of the movie is, again, the 2 times the movie slows down, one of them is to explain, like, what the bone she has to pick with Captain Marvel is, right?
But again, they set it up in a smart, I'm not going to say Thanos level, but they made another intelligent villain. She wasn't doing things entirely to be evil. She wasn't like, I'm evil to be evil. She was doing everything she could desperately to save her planet while also getting revenge on her enemy.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, Captain Marvel is the villain of the movie. She did kind of destroy the Kree.
Trying to save them by getting rid of
the Supreme Intelligence.
Which was like the pillar of their whole society. By getting rid of that, somehow, without that Supreme Intelligence leading them anymore, their entire planet fell to ruin.
Well, I mean, if you're relying on a genius AI essentially to control your very being, you're gonna it's a crutch, right? You take the crutch away and you're gonna limp along afterwards. So that's basically what happens here.
Yeah, and so what happens
she thought she was doing them a favor. And in a way, you could argue she was, she was genuine about it.
But it turned her into the villain, in which case, our actual villain was the hero of her people, doing anything she could, willing to lay her life down to save her planet, to save Hala.
Yeah.
While getting a tiny spice of revenge along the way.
Not a tiny spice. She was going to kill everybody on Earth. She killed a lot of two other, I guess,
but in her eyes, it seems fair.
The Singy planet.
Oh my gosh.
That was weird. I don't know
It was weird, but in another part of my brain, I went, okay, it's a vast universe, lots of stuff. Why not have a weird singy planet?
Here's my issue with it, that they can't understand when it's not being sung. Like, the words don't change, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I get you're trying to do something.
It's like an accent, though. Sometimes somebody's accent is so thick you can't understand them, and theirs is that if you're not singing it, they no longer understand the words.
It reminded me...
Like, they need that vocal portion, like how they say...
It's easier to understand, yeah. It reminded me... And someone out there, hopefully a lot of people out there will know this, there's a Star Trek The Next Generation episode where Picard gets stranded on this planet with an alien, and they kind of tell that they speak in like stories. It's a really good episode. And that's, for some reason, what it reminded me of.
I'm okay with it being a large galaxy, and it felt just more fun. They, like, really, you
this
could tell
was a heavy focus on fun in this movie.
They did. They inserted the fun, cranked it up to 11, and said, you know what, we understand. We've had these deep, interconnected plots. Here, just have something fun. And
speaking of fun, Brie Larson was not as wooden in this one. They definitely tried to inject some life into her this time.
Because I think they made an emphasis on showing that she's been trying this whole time to recover lost memories, and I think that brings back her personality.
Yeah.
She was definitely, when she was under the control of the Supreme Intelligence, under the control of the Kree, she lost her personality. She lost who she was. She's finally gotten it back. She had some deeply emotional scenes in this that were really well done.
They were all right, yeah.
They had that nice social, awkward stuff, meeting back up with Monica and running into super fan.
Super duper fan, yeah.
Super fan, yeah. Twinsies.
It was a bit much, but
it totally hit teenage girl geeking out at their hero.
I guess. Yeah.
It did.
I'm going to have to take your word for it on that, but yeah.
I can't even imagine how messed up I would have sounded if I would have ran into the idol of my...
It would be like my niece meeting Taylor Swift, I suppose, and she has a fascination beyond...
It would be me meeting Ben Browder.
Oh, God.
From Farscape. Oh, my God.
See, I
had
don't
his
know
poster on my wall.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't know that men quite have that same thing where they have that super fan. Like, there's nobody... Like, I would love to meet, like, a George Lucas, but not to, like, geek out, but to actually, like, sit down and, like, talk with a guy, assuming he would, entertain me.
Would it have been the same, though, when you were a teenager?
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever had that, like, that fascination with somebody.
Maybe it's a...
Even, like, I mean... I don't know. No, I'm not saying there's anything... I'm sure there are guys out there who do and women out there who don't. I'm not trying to... I'm just kind of generalizing that from my personal experience. And what other guys I know, they don't really have that, like, idol that they're like, oh, I'd lose my mind if I met them.
What did you think of the Flerkens?
That was the part you laughed hysterically at. And there you go again.
Yes, I did.
Trying not to cough. You're like 93% right now, yeah.
They even played the song Memory while they were doing Little Baby Flerkens. Memory, the song from Cats, the musical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that song is from Cats while they're running around herding cats and having them eat people.
My only...
for their protection.
Not off... Well, I guess it is off topic. My only experience with cats is at one point you were watching the recent movie and you're like, come here, you got to see this. And I'm like, what? What are you watching? And you showed me like 5 minutes. Like, what the...
Yes, the new version of the musical. I wanted you to see how bad it truly was.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyway.
But the Flerkens, they were... Like I said, there were a lot of just...
It was fun. This movie was the epitome of things happen.
Things happen.
And they keep happening. And as long as you're enjoying the ride, you're probably going to like this movie. But again, if you wanted something a little... It does have its moments. As you pointed out, there are some touching moments.
And I think...
But it's a lot of just fun.
I think having Kamala is what helped make those touching moments hit harder. Because she's a kid. She doesn't have the experience with loss the same way the adults do. So when she comes back and says, Monica didn't... I almost cried. I did. When she comes back and she used to tell Fury, Monica didn't make it. I was just like, oh.
Oh, yeah, I was soulless at that point. I was like, yeah, kind of saw that coming. As soon as they cracked open to the other reality, I'm like, oh, here we go. It's Battle World starting.
She said she had to do it from the other side.
I know.
And Battle World is coming.
We know that.
We know this.
Yes.
That they're going to use I think they've switched out Kang now for Doctor Doom, and they're going to do Battle World. They're going to fracture the universe. All the multiverses are going to come together.
I want Doctor Doom done right. The MCU better not screw him up.
Well,
I know. That's a tall order.
Yeah. No, I thought they did a lot of things right. Overall, I enjoyed the story. The action scenes I thought were really well done. I liked how they practiced we got the training montage of them practicing how to flip between, and they still made mistakes, which was great.
It's gonna take a montage.
Yep. At least they didn't just instantly get it right.
No, they did show them training.
As for the dark side of the fandom, do you want to even mention that?
What dark side of the fandom?
The people who say that because they made this movie with all female heroes and all female villains.
Yeah, it is all female.
It is. But I didn't feel the woke agenda.
I mean,
they never
depends
made a
on
big
your definition of the woke agenda.
But they never ever came out and said, "Well, female strong" or anything weird like that.
I mean, Valkyrie shows up. I don't generally care about that. I hate when it's when you can tell the point of the movie is women are amazing. I mean, women are amazing, but I don't need to show them kicking ass to think women are amazing.
But like I said, it was okay because it never went there. It was never well, we came together because we're all women. No, it was everything seemed to make enough sense for me to be it's fine.
I didn't really think about that because
it didn't push that at
all. I'm sure when they were making this movie there was a thought in their head of yes, this is going to be an all female team, and fine, I don't care.
What did you think of the Young Avengers tease at the end?
That kind of came out of the blue, but we knew that was going to happen, right? They've been kind of setting that up.
They've been setting it up, yeah. We know Ant-Man has a daughter, Stature, from the comics.
Yep.
We met Patriot.
Yeah, we've met Patriot.
They have the bearings. I mean, Wanda's kids were supposed to be in it. I was just going to say, yeah. Which, with Battle World coming and the universe fracturing, there's nothing to say we cannot have Speed and Wiccan.
Yeah.
Her children. Should we get to the hammers, or do we have anything else to talk about first?
I don't know. There's not a lot to talk about.
How about the post-credit?
The post-credit. I thought Beast looked terrible. He looked very CGI. Couldn't we get Kelsey Grammer in there to really do it?
Was he supposed to look like from...
That's Kelsey Grammer's voice.
Yeah.
That's Beast from the first version of X-Men.
So was that supposed to be that universe, perhaps?
I'd imagine that they showed the X symbol of the door that looked like everything from the first.
Well, then they showed binary.
Movies. Yeah, they showed
where Monica's mother was actually binary.
Yes.
I was well, this is interesting. She's in the alternate universe. We are setting up for Battle World. And I'm okay with it. Let's set it up slow. Don't fling open the door and rush headlong into it. Let's go about this the right way.
My hope for the whole Battle World thing is when we end with this, we get rid of all the multiverses and we just have one universe again. It just the stakes get just so wacky when you have infinity is impossible to just grasp. Mm-hmm. And so when you're talking about infinity at stake, it doesn't really register.
Well, it's one thing that I think they explained multiverses best in Futurama. Where every choice you make spawned a different universe. They made jokes that every time Lilo had to make a decision, she flipped a coin and she would go with whatever it said. And the other universe she ran into, whenever she flipped a coin one way, the other one got the other answer.
Yeah, but in all reality, every fraction, even less than a fraction of a second, everything you do, am I going to itch my nose or not itch my nose? everything is a decision and everything would be...
It's Schrodinger's cats. Well, I am both itching and not itching my nose now.
What's in the box? Yeah.
Flurgans. Lots and lots of... I wish they wouldn't have spoiled that in the posters and the media. You saw the little baby kittens, and I was if they wouldn't have spoiled that, it would have been much better.
Yeah, we knew with the eggs.
As soon as you saw the egg, I was
the brain
it's
eggs,
the baby
they look
Flurgans.
like brains. Yeah, and we're going to have all
Here they are.
They're going to eat everybody and take them off the space station.
They set that up smart, too. We talked about that on the ride home.
That was the one thing we talked about.
Yes, because at the beginning... When you see Goose, he eats two of the Kree and ends up spitting them back out in Kamala's house. Yeah. Meaning that they can travel with them and keep them alive.
Yes. So you're right away now thinking that that's going to be used later since it's being used in the moment. That's clever.
You don't think, though, right away that they're going to use that later. It's not until all of a sudden the babies are all born, you're oh! So we were comparing it to our favorite foreshadowing movie ever, Green Lantern.
The gravitational pull of the sun.
This is the gravitational pull of the sun. It is dangerous. Do not fly too close.
Too close.
Later in the movie, I know. I will fly too close to the sun and have the enemy swallow. No.
Yep.
No, that was way too 4K. This was just right. Where you saw the capability of it, but you didn't think this was going to happen until you saw it and you're like, there it is. It's perfect.
Yeah. All right, hammer scale.
Hammer scale. You go first because you're Thor.
I don't even know what that means.
Which means you're going first.
This isn't a great movie by any stretch, but it's not. I mean, there was the thought in the back of my head that this could be by far the worst MCU movie, and it's certainly bottom tier stuff here. I'm gonna be very generous. I'll give it a 4.
That's generous? I thought you said you liked this.
I enjoyed it, but...
Well, now I feel bad. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Okay.
Almost a 7.
That's fair.
Because I laughed so hard and I just enjoyed watching the movie. That I could watch this as almost even as a standalone movie and say, this was good, this was fun.
Really, the problem is it's not really standalone. It does rely heavily on having... to really get the most out of it, quote unquote, you would have to know who Monica and Kamala are. Basically.
Which I feel like their montages helped. Yes, they weren't perfect, but they helped.
It's not a bad... I mean, the four is... It is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a great movie, but you can sit down and probably as long as you don't get all caught up in you don't like Brie Larson and like if that's you don't like her, that's fine.
That's
I don't
fine.
really care
this
either way.
Movie's not for you then.
Yeah, no, it's really not. I mean, she is better in this. You know, it is a woke movie, right? Because it is all a female cast, but it doesn't really shove it in your face. I don't care about that. So
it's not a woke movie. It's just a movie that has a bunch of female leads.
Again, it really depends on
literally the difference.
It depends on your definition of it, right?
Woke means they're pushing it.
Well, yeah,
in a way that makes it overt. I feel like
I don't know what again, you can go with multiple different definitions.
I feel like woke is when Marvel had to find that endgame scene where they had to throw all the women together.
Right? Yes, that's where you're like,
the battlefield, all the women had to come. That I pushed as
female Avengers assemble.
That's woke. Yes.
That's in your face.
They never sat there and said in your face,
no, there's no scene of like stealing a motorcycle from the chauvinistic pig, and no, there's nothing like that.
No, so I would just say this is just a cast of a bunch of female leads.
Had this movie come out 10 years ago, nobody would have blinked an eye at any of it because it's just not.
Now you have to play with definitions.
Yes. All right. Well, I think it's time to take to the comments below and tell us what you thought of the Marvels, assuming you have seen it or are gonna see it. I don't know why you'd watch the spoilers, but whatever.
Whatevs.
Take to those comments below. Let's talk some Marvel, and until next time, thanks for watching.